All right, today we're talking about pickleball, but trust me, not in any way you've probably thought about it before. We're going to get a little weird, a little cosmic, and unpack a theory that treats this friendly little sport like, well, a complex, self-devouring universe.
Yeah, I know. Just let that sink in for a second. A generative engine of paradox? I mean, what does that even mean? It sounds more like astrophysics than it does a sport you play on a Sunday morning. But believe it or not, yes, we are still talking about pickleball. And this rabbit hole, it goes deep.
So that's the core question we're really tackling. The whole point of this explainer is to unpack this fascinating and, maybe a little bonkers theory to see what it can tell us about the hidden dynamics of a game we all thought we knew. Okay, so here's how we're going to make sense of all this. We'll start by looking at how the court itself acts as a container. Then we'll see how the rally becomes a loop. We'll dig into the central paradox of patience versus aggression and wrap it all up with how to master your own mind. First up, the court is a container. And according to this theory, it's not just a court with lines painted on it. No, it's the holistic manifold, the entire map where this little universe unfolds.
Think about it this way. In a sport like golf, you hit the ball and the energy just dissipates. But the tiny pickleball court, it acts more like a pressure cooker. The energy you put into a shot gets trapped, it cycles back and forth, and it forces this constant, rapid-fire interaction between the players.
And you can really see just how intense that pressure is when you look at the numbers. A pickleball doubles court is less than a third of the size of a tennis court. The theory calls this spatial compression, and it's what forces all the action into such a tiny space, creating those incredible, lightning-fast hand battles right at the net. So how does this pressure cooker not just explode into a game of pure, raw power? Well, it's because of this one brilliant piece of game design, the non-volley zone, or as we all know it, the kitchen. The theory calls it a systemic dampener, basically a rule designed specifically to calm the whole system down. The kitchen really has three key jobs. First, it forces a total change in tactics as you get close to the net. Second, it pretty much single-handedly creates the entire strategic soft game of dinking. And third, it prevents the game from just turning into chaos, a singularity of smash and kill. In short, it's what enforces balance.
So if the court is the container, what's actually going on inside it? Well, that brings us to our second part. The rally is a loop. You can think of this as the engine of the game, something that's constantly cycling through different phases.
What's really cool is how the theory maps a single point onto a complete life cycle. It kicks off with the serve and return, then it hits this moment of critical tension on the third shot, then it might find a stable equilibrium in the kitchen, and finally, it all resolves in the chaos of a firefight. And that third shot, it's everything. It's the fundamental choice. Do you play a drop? That's what the theory calls a negative feedback loop. It's designed to calm the rally down and reset everything to neutral. Or do you hit a drive? That's a positive feedback loop that jacks up the energy, trying to completely overwhelm your opponent. And that fundamental choice between that drop and that drive, well, it leads us directly to the heart of the entire theory. It's the central tension that fuels the whole game, patience versus aggression. First, you have the thesis, the soft game. This is all about dinking, dropping, and resetting. The goal here isn't to hit a flashy winner, it's to be so frustratingly consistent that your opponent is the one who makes a mistake first. And then you have its direct opposite, the antithesis, the hard game. This is all about the drives, the speed-ups, the overheads. Forget patience. The goal here is just to impose your will on the point and end it with overwhelming force.
But here's the thing. The best players don't just pick one strategy. They create a synthesis of the two. They master the patient soft game just to create an opportunity, that one high ball, and then they instantly switch to the aggressive hard game for the kill. They literally use one to earn the other.
This is how a player breaks out of one of those long, dinking stalemates. They decide to inject chaos with a speed-up, often targeting a weak spot like the paddle side hip, the infamous chicken wing. But the highest level skill, that's the counter, the reset. It's the ability to absorb all that chaotic energy with just a soft block and immediately bring the game back to a state of calm. Okay, so we've covered the external systems of the court and the rally. Now it's time for the final piece, the internal system of the player's mind. And this is where the player actually becomes the Ouroboros.
The ultimate goal for any player, in any sport really, is achieving that flow state. And this theory has an amazing term for it, the radiant chomp. It's that exact moment where the Ouroboros catches its own tail. You're not thinking, you're just doing. Your sense of self just melts away, and you become one with the loop of the game.
And this isn't just some mystical talk, either. There's real neuroscience to back this up. It's called transient hypofrontality. The part of your brain that's responsible for all that self-criticism and overthinking, it literally just goes quiet for a little while, allowing your muscle memory and your instinct to completely take over.
And understanding all these loops gives you practical tools you can actually use. If an opponent is on a roll, you can use a timeout as a circuit breaker to interrupt their loop. If you just made a bad error, you can use those 10 seconds before you serve as a built-in mental reset button to start a new, cleaner loop.
Ultimately, what this whole theory suggests is that mastering pickleball is about so much more than just hitting good shots. It's about understanding and mastering all of these interconnected loops: the court, the rally, the strategy, and your own mind. It's about learning exactly when to be patient and when to attack, when to calm the system down and when to inject a little chaos.
It's a fascinating way to look at a sport, isn't it? And it leaves us with one last big thought. If a simple game of pickleball contains such a complex, self-regulating universe of loops and paradoxes, what hidden systems might be governing all the other games we play every single day?